Hello and welcome. This is Collier from Make Your Money Work for You. In this short training, I will be discussing a very important step that you should follow before you begin investing: building a mini emergency fund. The Before You Invest series are important lessons to learn and apply. Do not skip these lessons on your way to becoming an investor. Again, my name is Collier, and I'm an investor and personal finance trainer. My goal in this course is to teach you why having an emergency fund will hedge you against minor financial mishaps that can occur unexpectedly in your life. This is your first step to becoming a successful investor. Financial crisis. When emergencies happen, it can be a financial crisis for many Americans. Bankrate.com recently reported that 63% of Americans do not have enough savings to cover a $500 emergency. Go Banking Rates reported around 25% of U.S. adults say they have no emergency savings at all, while more than 23% say they only have enough money to cover their bills for 1 to 3 weeks. In order to meet the cost of an unexpected expense, most people would have to drastically change their lifestyle and cut back on expenses, charge the expense to a credit card, or lean on family and friends to borrow money. If you do not have an emergency fund, investing can quickly take a back seat when it comes to basic survival. This is why it's important to build your emergency fund first before you start investing. Emergency fund. So what exactly is an emergency fund? An emergency fund is an account with money set aside whose only purpose is to cover unexpected expenses. Unexpected expenses does not include a new set of tires. Every car owner knows that the car will eventually need new tires. This is an expense that should be budgeted for. The emergency fund is set up for true emergencies. Your emergency fund must be liquid, and you should have your emergency fund parked in a high-yield savings or money market account. More on that later. Finally, if an emergency does happen where it requires you to tap into the resources, stop everything else you're doing and immediately revert back to funding your emergency fund until it is fully funded. How much do you need? How much do you need to save? A mini emergency fund is the first place to start. It comprises of $1,000 to $3,000. This amount can cover most basic emergencies that come up. Once your mini emergency fund is funded, you should begin investing into a retirement account of some kind. This can include a 401k, 403b, IRA, Roth IRA, Simple IRA, SEP IRA, or annuity. These retirement accounts have a maximum allowed limit. If you cannot invest the maximum allowed, try to fund at least 5% of your income in one of these accounts. Take the rest of your available cash flow and set up a debt elimination plan. This could either be a debt snowball or debt avalanche plan. We will discuss those methods in a later video. A great component to investing is time. You don't want to lose time concentrating on eliminating all of your debt before you start investing. Take advantage of tax-favored retirement accounts as you work on eliminating debt. Do not invest your emergency fund. It can be tempting to take your mini emergency fund and put it into the market. After all, it's just sitting there in a savings account, barely doing anything. Do not be tempted to invest your emergency fund. The stock market can be volatile, and in a few short days, you could see your investments quickly move 10% or more against you, even if you're holding great stocks. You don't want an emergency to occur in your life at the same time when the stock market is down. You would be forced to sell your stocks at a loss to cover your emergency. This is not smart. Do not invest your emergency fund into the stock market. Traditional banks rob you. The average interest rate for savings accounts today is 0.01%. Meanwhile, inflation is growing at an average of 2% per year. In this chart, $1,000 was deposited into a bank savings account paying 0.01% interest. At the end of the year, that $1,000 earns 10 cents, while inflation on that $1,000 1 year later is $20. That's a net loss of $19.90. The more money you have in the bank, the bigger your losses. Online banking. I believe that online banking will become the future of banking. We live in a technology world where we no longer need to go inside a bank to handle any of our transactions. We can pay bills online, deposit checks by scanning them with our cell phones. We can even send payments to another person's account with a bank app. Online banking has become so much more efficient and has dramatically cut the cost of unnecessary expenses. Imagine the money saved with not having brick and mortar branches all over the country. And that's just one way online banks save money. Because online banks don't have the expense of maintaining branches, they can offer high interest savings accounts that pay many times more than the national average. This is why you should seek an online bank to park your emergency fund. High yield savings accounts. Conduct a quick Google search for high yield savings account and you will be flooded with offers from online banks that offer slightly better rates than traditional banks. What is a high yield savings account, you might ask? It is a savings account with a variable rate typically higher than retail brick and mortar banks. High yield savings accounts may come with some limits, such as a maximum of 6 withdrawals or debits per month. But that shouldn't be a problem due to the fact that you're parking your emergency fund here. The Federal Reserve has drastically cut lending rates. This has caused many banks to follow suit, including online banks. So the options of high yield savings are not as plenty as they once were. The Federal Reserve's latest economic forecast suggests that interest rates will remain near zero at least through 2023. Citibank, American Express Bank, and Discover Bank all offer slightly higher than average annual percentage yields on their savings accounts. These yields, however, aren't much better than what the traditional banks offer. Where do I put my emergency fund? Before you worry about the best place to hold your mini emergency fund, remember what the fund is for. It is designed for small emergencies that happen in your life. This money is not designed to be invested. It's really just savings. I like to refer it to just in case money. Make sure you keep it separate from the rest of your everyday spending money. Placing your mini emergency fund in a bank savings or high yield savings account will be just fine. The only thing you need to be concerned with is your ability to have quick access to it. In summary, building a mini emergency fund before investing is very important. Remember, it's not a matter of if you have an emergency, it's a matter of when. Don't have a financial crisis when you could have had a minor inconvenience by simply having a mini emergency fund. You should start with a mini emergency fund of $1,000 to $3,000 before you start investing. This will cover most unexpected emergencies. Do not be tempted to place your emergency fund in the stock market. You do not want to have an emergency when the stock market is down, causing you to have to take your money out at a loss. Finally, don't focus too heavily on interest rates. Unfortunately, banks are not paying much in the form of interest to hold your money. This money is for emergencies only, and it's only $1,000 to $3,000 that you're holding there. No more than that. Thank you for watching this short presentation. I hope it has given you some things to consider concerning mini emergency funds before you start investing into the stock market.